Hello there. Thank you so much for joining us. This is News Channel Nebraska. My name's Eric McKay. Let's take a look at our top headlines today. Beginning in southeast Nebraska, where the man accused of killing his partner and holding his children hostage has pleaded not guilty to 4 charges, among them second-degree murder. 51-year-old Christopher Milkey being held in jail without bond. Investigators say he killed 52-year-old Tammy Leslie at their Beatrice home back in September. According to court documents, his 19-year-old daughter was able to call police once he fell asleep after he'd taken her phone away and made it so that she and another child could not escape. Milkey's due back in court for another hearing next month. A different kind of DoorDash at an Ashland restaurant as their plow truck drove out of the parking lot. Round the Bend Steakhouse posted this video asking for help in tracking down their red Suburban. They say it was stolen. They allege the suspects drove onto the property with a black car, then tailed the Suburban out of the lot. The restaurant says they went south on 310th Street. Should the parent company of Facebook get to own Instagram and WhatsApp? After a judge's ruling yesterday, an antitrust case focused on that very question is going to trial. And as Amy Kiley reports, the Federal Trade Commission wants the answer to be no.
An antitrust case aimed at breaking up social media giant Meta is heading to trial. That's after a federal judge partly denied a request for summary judgment yesterday from the parent company of Facebook. The Federal Trade Commission alleges Meta overpaid for Instagram in 2012 and WhatsApp in 2014 to stifle competition. This is its second attempt to sue Meta over that claim after dismissals of similar suits from the FTC and a group of states filed in 2020.
Facebook has used its dominance and monopoly power to crush smaller rivals and snuff out competition, all at the expense of everyday users.
In an April statement about its request for summary judgment, Meta argues it does face competition from apps like TikTok, X, and YouTube. In a new statement to multiple news agencies, Meta says evidence at trial will prove buying Instagram and WhatsApp has benefited customers. The antitrust lawsuit against Meta is not alone. The government also is suing 3 other tech giants.
Apple is one of 4 companies that the House investigated for potential anti-competitive violations back in 2020. So Apple, Google, Meta, and Amazon were those 4 companies, and Apple is now the last of those 4 to be sued by the federal government.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Meanwhile, federal authorities say an investigation into Chinese government hacking efforts has revealed what they're calling a broad and significant cyber espionage campaign mounted by Beijing. The FBI said Wednesday the hackers compromised several U.S. telecommunications firms to access the call records and personal data of the people targeted. Officials wouldn't say who the hackers went after, but say those targeted included a limited number of people, mainly involved in government and politics. China's denied the hacking accusations, but federal authorities say Beijing has mounted an aggressive cyber espionage campaign designed to steal technological and government information and to target key infrastructure. Well, hunting season is about to take on a whole new level this weekend with rifle deer season about to get underway. Jake Bartecki spoke with Game and Parks to get a pulse on everything from population to hunter safety.
Come Saturday morning, deer hunters across Nebraska will trek out for their first rifle hunts of the season. As deer season takes to another level, Game and Parks discussed expectations and overview with NCN.
I would say overall, we're expecting, when the season's all said and done, we're expecting harvest numbers to be down, which is partly our goal.
Luke Meduna is Big Game Program Manager for Game and Parks and notes they lowered available permit numbers for the 2024 season. In doing this, Game and Parks hopes to grow its deer population that's been severely impacted by disease, winter kill, and recent drought.
So, the drought impacts in a number of ways. For one, directly, it just reduces the amount of habitat that's out there for deer, the amount of browse, food, hiding areas for fawns. So your fawn survival is going to be lower, lower, poor quality food, those types of things, just can impact adult and fawn survival. But then also on the disease aspect, when you have droughts, it creates good conditions for hemorrhagic disease.
While harvest numbers may lower by virtue of less permits being available, Meduna does believe success rates will be similar to that of recent years, but will vary locally. Todd Nordine is Big Game Disease Manager for Game and Parks and says chronic waste disease testing will be done in the Northeast and Southeast Nebraska hunt units.
We encourage hunters who want to get their animal tested for chronic wasting disease to come to one of those check stations and those deer management units that we have staff there, and we'll help get those collected, and we'll get those samples submitted and let the hunters know the results.
In Lincoln, Jake Bartecki, News Channel Nebraska.
The number of E. coli cases tied to the McDonald's Quarter Pounder has now surpassed 100. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says there are 104 illnesses, including 34 hospitalizations and 1 death in Colorado. The case is spread across 14 states, including many in Nebraska. The source of the bacteria thought to be the slivered onions used on the burger. They were recalled last month. The CDC says those onions, though, would be past their shelf life by now, so the risk of new infections is low. Thanksgiving 2 weeks away, so the U.S. Department of Agriculture now sending out its yearly food safety reminders. The USDA encouraging inexperienced cooks to experts to practice food safety this holiday season. They say when you're shopping for your turkey, pick it up at the end of your grocery shopping trip to keep it as cold as long as possible. The USDA also says check that the packaging isn't torn to prevent the spread of bacteria. If you're cooking a turkey, remember it can be thawed safely in the refrigerator or in cold water. And when you're serving food to groups, remember the 2-hour rule. That goes for perishable foods that have sat out at room temperature for more than 2 hours. The USDA says food becomes unsafe because of bacterial growth and has to be discarded. Anyone with any food safety questions ahead of planning their feast can also call the USDA's Meat and Poultry Hotline. We are now officially in the holiday shopping season, at least according to Adobe Analytics. Researchers there say they expect record online spending this year. Karen Kafa has a look at how much higher that spending could be and a way that shoppers are increasingly choosing to pay.
It's hard sometimes. It's just hard.
Bella Canales is a Dallas mom of 3 who works full-time, as does her husband, and she says money is tight.
I actually make pretty decent money, but my goodness, when life hits hard. And it feels like when it rains, it pours.
Bella often uses Buy Now, Pay Later, or BNPL, loans which allow for short-term payoffs.
I've used it, I know, twice now at Walmart, Affirm to be exact, to buy my groceries because it's easier to do that than put it on an already maxed out credit card.
Buy Now, Pay Later allows consumers to purchase goods on an installment basis and interest-free typically.
Adobe's 2024 online holiday shopping survey predicts record buying with this method.
We're expecting about $18.5 billion to be processed through Buy Now, Pay Later, and that's just over 11% year-on-year growth.
The Federal Reserve Bank of New York found financially stable buyers choose BNPL to avoid paying interest and for convenience. Financially fragile buyers for credit and affordability. Adobe found most people wanted to free up cash or buy something they couldn't otherwise afford.
We do see average order values for Buy Now, Pay Later tend to be higher, and ultimately it allows people to kind of stretch the bounds of their budget.
I just would choose it over credit cards any day.
Bella Canales says her holiday shopping will include buying now, paying later, putting off paying until tomorrow what she can get today. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
And finally, high school athletes have been busy this week signing their collegiate letters of intent. No different in central Nebraska. Our Ryan Valenta highlights 3 athletes making the leap to college athletics next year.
Only 7% of athletes go on to play sports after graduating high school, and only about 2% of them go on to play at the Division I level. The Hastings High Tigers are sending 3 athletes to go play college sports, with 2 of them going to be competing at the Division I level.
Today was the first day this year where high school athletes could sign their letters of intent to play sports next year at the college level. Dozens of athletes across the state used that as an opportunity to put pen to paper today to give them one less thing to think about in their senior year of high school.
Finally to sign that paper, and today was a big weight lifted off my shoulder.
Chance Verton is a football and baseball player for the Hastings High Tigers, but he'll be taking his talents to the Cowley County Community College baseball program down in Arkansas City, Kansas. He's a 4-year varsity player who led the team in batting average last spring.
To represent Central Nebraska would be pretty awesome. They've only had one other guy in the last 40 years to go from Nebraska to go down there to play. So I'm very honored to honor the state and the Central Nebraska to go down there and play my best ball, be the best version of myself.
Abby Fish is a swimmer and is headed to Cincinnati to become a musketeer at Xavier University. She's placed 8th or better at state swim in each of her 3 years in high school, including a bronze medal finish last season.
It's nice to be able to, represent a small town and on a big stage and just show all the hard work that we put in out here. And it's like a nice big weight off my shoulders. We start swim season next week, so that was kind of something that I had in the back of my mind, just kind of be committed, be done before season started, take that pressure off.
Grace Beck is continuing her softball career at the Division I level at the University of North Dakota. She hit a team-high 14 home runs this fall, part of a Tiger team that finished as state runners-up.
When I started playing with Nebraska Gold, I really pushed myself. They pushed really hard there. Like when you go there and you come here and on the field, give your 100 all the time. And just to see the coaches there and actually interact with some college coaches, I really started to push and like this could be my future, and now it is.
This is the first year since 2022 that Hastings High has produced a Division I athlete. Covering the Hastings High Tigers, I'm Ryan Valenta.
And you can stay up to date with the very latest by following us online. Head to newschannelnebraska.com, click on the News tab there. You can also follow us on X, like us on Facebook and Instagram as well. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. You're watching News Channel Nebraska.